Guitarists love their guitar. Its expressiveness, its sound, its energy. Boss knows this and gives musicians the tools to get the job done. Boss Compact Pedals. For 20 years, they've put state-of-the-art effects technologies into stomp boxes that are compact, affordable, incredibly rugged, and sound the best. Today's players also rely on Boss features like the silent FET foot switch, an on-off LED that's also a battery power indicator, an easy access battery compartment, and a dust-proof electronics section. Boss also leads the industry with a 5-year warranty. With this combination of high technology and road-tested toughness, it's no surprise that Boss remains boss of the stomp box world. Gigging guitarists need basic effects that cover any live situation: distortion, modulation, time delay, and compression. First, all players need a great distortion to create a warm, powerful overdrive and help shape their musical personality. This can range from heavy metal crunch to fuzz to a strong lead boost. Boss makes over 12 different fuzz boxes to suit your personal tastes. Another important family is modulation pedals, starting with the all-important Boss Chorus. Boss invented the chorus, and ever since the late 70s, chorus has driven dozens of hit records. Other members of this hip pedal group include flangers and phasers. And if you need to fatten up your axe tone with some acoustic dimension, a digital delay or reverb is the pedal for the job. How about a hot booster for solos? Try a compressor for screaming liquid sustain. And to ice the cake, you'll need a tough power supply and pedal board to carry your stomp boxes in. For that, look no further than a Boss BCB case and PSM5 power supply. These effects are the heart and soul of any Boss effects rig. Every player's sound starts with his fuzz box, and Boss is legendary for its line of distortion and overdrive pedals. Whether you're looking for smooth tube gain, raging vintage fuzz, or the colossal crunch that made heavy metal famous, Boss makes the pedal for you. There are 3 families of Boss distortion pedals. First, there's the Distortion family with the DS1 Distortion, MT2 Metal Zone, PW2 Power Driver, DS2 Turbo Distortion, HM3 Hyper Metal, XT2 Extortion, or the versatile OS2 Overdrive Distortion. These Boss favorites produce the hard and heavy crunch sound that is key to rock and metal. For that perfect dash of vintage, check out Boss's FZ3 Fuzz and FZ2 Hyper Fuzz. These are the original fuzz boxes with cool retro sounds of the 60s and new modern rock textures. Dig those groovy metallic finishes. Finally, there's the Overdrive family with the Boss's SD1 Super Overdrive, SD2 Dual Overdrive, OD2R Turbo Overdrive, or the extra soulful BD2 Blues Driver. These produce the natural warm sound of an overdriven tube amp.
Hi, I'm Nick Nolan, and I'm going to show you how I use distortion in a rock context. Lots of rock players need a fat, punchy distortion for both power chords and solos. The DS1 Distortion is an awesome pedal for this job. Let me show you one of my favorite settings. I have the tone at 10 o'clock, level on 12, and distortion full up.
Hi, I'm Steve Travato. Overdrive is an essential part of Texas blues, and for that, Boss makes the BD2 Blues Driver. Using a Strat, I set the box with a moderate amount of gain to boost the natural overdrive of my amp. Mix in the right guitar and the right licks, and you've got that Austin sound.
Hi there, I'm Darian Kogel. Have you ever wondered how to get that fat crunch tone you hear in today's music? Here's the magic tool, the Boss FZ2 Hyper Fuzz. It's really perfect for modern rock and extreme applications. Here's one setting I use. Listen for the unique overtones that the FC2 creates.
Hello, I'm Paul Hansen, and I love the MT2 Metal Zone. No matter what amp you use, the MT2 will give it a crunch that will rip your head off, especially for fast solos. For one cool sound, I like to put the level and distortion knobs to 12 o'clock, and both the high and low frequency to 2. Finish up with both mid-frequency knobs at 10 o'clock. Check it out.
Country players use plenty of overdrive too. The Boss SD2 Dual Overdrive is 2 pedals in one, each with its own volume and gain controls. This gives me 2 distinct tones to work with. I use one for a bluesy edge, and one for Southern country rock.
A key thing in modern music is pushing the edge. Here I've distorted my acoustic electric for total change. I'm using the XT2 Extortion for a really powerful sound. You don't have to stick to folk music anymore.
To make your tone thicker and bigger, you'll want to grab a Boss chorus. Boss invented the chorus, and for lush, clean chords and sparkling leads, this box is essential to your rig. To fatten your guitar sound even more, check out other members of Boss's Modulation family, like the flanger and ever-funky phaser.
Chorus is an effect I love to use. In fact, I love it so much I use 2 when gigging with my band. The first is a CH1 Super Chorus that's set for a straight-ahead chorus sound like this. Then for a fast rotating speaker sound, I grab the CE5 Chorus Ensemble, put the rate on 10 and lower the depth. You can get a really cool tone like this.
If you're a metal player, you know how cool a flanger sounds through a cranked up stack. Along with the Metal Zone, I use a Boss BF2, which is the standard for rock flangers. For a really cool rhythm tone, dial the manual knob to 3 o'clock, depth to 2, slow the rate to 9, then go for a deep resonance around 3 o'clock. This gives you a really cool slow swirl. Great for rhythm.
Nashville session players today are using a discontinued Roland chorus effect called a Dimension D. You can't buy that vintage rack unit anymore, but you can sound just like it with the Boss CE5 chorus ensemble. The best feature is its ability to mix the chorus effect with the direct sound. Check it out.
Hi, I'm Ross Bolton, and here's how I like to use a phase shifter for funk parts. Using the PH2 Super Phaser, put the rate knob between 12 and 3 o'clock, the depth at 4, the resonance at 2, and the mode set to 1. This works really well for funky chords, single notes, and octaves.
Hi, I'm Kirk Smart. Over the last decade, chorus has become an essential part of every acoustic player's setup, and for a good reason. It sounds great. Using the CH1 Super Chorus, I put rate at 2 o'clock, depth at 1, and make an EQ cut at 9 o'clock. This gives me a really lush effect for soft chords, especially when I'm finger picking.
Here's my secret for getting a rotating speaker sound with the CE5 chorus ensemble. I set the effects level to 2 o'clock, turn the rate all the way up, the depth knob to about 11, then put the filter where you like it. Check this out.
To make your guitar sound like you're playing anywhere from a small recording studio to a humongous football stadium, Boss makes a whole line of digital delay and reverb pedals. Use these boxes to generate the warm, natural ambiance that pro players use all the time.
There are a million uses for digital delays in country. Probably the most famous is the cascade echo effect. To get this sound on the Boss DD3 digital delay, set the mode to long, or 800 milliseconds, the delay time knob to about 11 o'clock, and the feedback to 1 repeat. Most importantly, though, make the effects level as loud or louder than your guitar volume. Check out what happens when I play staccato eighth notes.
One of the coolest effects I know uses the DD5 digital delay. This trick combines the cascade echo effect that country players use with volume swells. Push the effects level knob to the max, turn feedback off, put the delay time to about 12 o'clock, and set the mode to 3. Trust me, this is one that will mesmerize your audience.
Reverb and acoustic guitar are a match made in heaven. For a lush, big hall effect, try these RV3 settings. Balance at 12 o'clock, tone at 9, reverb time at 12, and mode to 10. This makes for a nice, soft reverb with a long, lingering tail.
Here's a good one for funk rhythms with repeats. Using a DD5 with an FS5U foot switch plugged in, I put the mode knob on 10 and set an eighth note delay. Then I just tap in the tempo of the song and I'm off.
Don't forget, the RV3 digital reverb has a full digital delay inside, making this a great 2 pedals in 1 stomp box. For a deep reverb with delay that works for rock solos, I put the balance and tone at 9 o'clock, reverb time at 12, and mode on 7 to get the right delay mixture. And remember, this is all coming out of one box.
Here's a good one for fattening up a thin-sounding Stratter Telly with single-coil pickups. Use a DD3, set the mode to S or 50 milliseconds, and adjust the delay time to around 3 o'clock. Keep the feedback to 1 repeat and put the effects level where you like it. This will put some meat on your tones.
Compressors are the working guitarist's secret weapon. Either used for sustain or as a distortion booster for solos, most top players never leave the house without their trusted compressor.
Have you ever soloed on a guitar with single-coil pickups and have the high notes die out, especially during bends? The Boss CS3 compressor solves that problem. Set the sustain and the tone at about 2 o'clock, attack at 12, and the level where you want it. Listen to how the high notes really sing out and hold their sustain.
The compressor is an important tool for acoustic players. The CS3 smooths out jarring highs and brings back any lost low notes, creating the kind of professional acoustic tone you hear on many records.
Here's a cool setting for a rhythm part that requires a heavy attack with the picking hand. Put the CS3's level and tone in the middle, the attack at about 11 o'clock, and the sustain between 1 and 2.
It's important to put your Boss pedals in the right order. If you're using AC wall power with multiple Boss pedals, you'll probably want to move past the basic Boss ACA or PSA adapters and begin your chain with a multiple pedal power supply. Either the Boss PSM5 power supply or LS2 line selector with optional PCS20A cord can power up to 7 stomp boxes. Each includes master effect switching. Next are the effect pedals themselves. Begin the sequence with an octaver, auto wah, or your favorite wah-wah pedal. Then your compressor. Next, the level boosting pedals, like your overdrives and distortions. A nice touch for rock players is to put the HR2 harmonist right after the distortion for fat lead guitar harmonies. As for the graphic EQ, you can experiment by putting it before or after the distortion. If you want to EQ your guitar only and not EQ other effects, put it first in the signal chain. But if you want to, say, fine-tune the sound of your fuzz box, put it after the fuzz in the lineup. If you have an acoustic or bass setup, generally put the EQ after the compressor. Put your noise suppressor after these gain-altering effects to squash noise. Finally, finish off your effects rig with a digital reverb or delay, and then any time modulation effects, like a Boss flanger, phaser, and chorus. Of course, you can experiment with any sequence you want, but with this basic setup, you'll be ready for any gig, anytime, anywhere. The Boss GE7 Graphic EQ is the Swiss Army knife of the effects world. Why? Because it's so good for so many jobs. With 7 broad frequency bands and an overall level control, electric and acoustic guitarists can shape their sound in literally hundreds of ways. This is simply an indispensable box.
You know what's really cool is that heavy chunking sound for power chords and drop D riffs. If you want to do it right, use a GE7 Graphic EQ and put a happy face on it. Set the sliders so that the bass and highs are cranked up and the mids are scooped out. This setting gives you a really heavy chunk.
While rock players use a happy face on the GE7 for their thrash riffs, we acoustic players use a similar setting to make our acoustic electrics sound more like an unplugged flat top. Just set the sliders in more of a V shape and listen to the woody tone of a classic dreadnought. Here's another little graphic EQ trick. If your amp breaks down at a gig, you can use the GE7 as an emergency preamp. Just plug your acoustic electric into the GE7 and then send it out to the PA. It's just another reason why the GE7 is the jack-of-all-trades box.
Graphic EQs aren't just for rhythm playing. Set the Boss GE7 to a nasty frown by bringing up the mids and lowering the bass and treble frequencies. Then push the level slider up for maximum boost in your solos. Listen how nasty the GE7 can sound when he's in a bad mood.
With the acoustic electric revolution in full swing, Boss delivers the AD5 acoustic instrument processor. This powerful preamp processor gives you quick, easy control over volume, virtual mic and placement, EQ, and a full range of effects for your acoustic guitar. As many acoustic players are learning, the AD5 is a device they can't live without.
I recently got an AD5 to try out, and I must say I'm very impressed. The best part about it is that everything the acoustic guitar needs is all in one box, including all your EQ and effects. Using either magnetic or piezo pickups, my guitar goes into the AD5's input jack, then I run the output out to either an acoustic amp, recording console, or PA. I'm going to plug into Roland's AC100 acoustic amp. It's that easy. You get important acoustic effects like digital chorus and reverb, anti-feedback control, and acoustic sound shaping of body type and mic placement for rich ambience. Here's what the AD5 sounds like with a body set to 11, mic distance set to 1, and just a dash of reverb. Now I'm going to change the body setting to 5 o'clock, the mic distance further away at 3, and add some chorus. Check this out. Now you know why the AD5 is becoming a must-have box for acoustic guitarists, including me.
If you want to go beyond the norm, try one of Boss's specialty pedals. From the groundbreaking acoustic simulator, to the rocking harmonist, to the hip pitch shifter, these are the boxes that will make audiences stand up and take notice of your guitar playing.
What are you going to do if you need a harmony solo and you're the only guitarist in the band? Plug into the HR2 harmonist, that's what. To get a 3-part harmony, I tweak the voice A knob up to a 3rd and set the voice B knob up a 5th. Effects levels are set at 1 o'clock, and since this is an intelligent harmony box, you just set it to the key the song is in and off you go. Also, make sure to put your fuzz box before the harmonist for the absolute best sound.
There's no easier way to get unplugged than by using the AC2 acoustic simulator on your regular electric guitar. There are a variety of body types to choose from, but I like the mode set to jumbo. Lower the body knob a bit, raise the top, and finally keep the level straight up.
I have 3 very funky settings for the AW2 Auto Wah. To get a sound like you're moving a wah-wah pedal in time with the groove, I pop the rate knob to 10 o'clock, the depth all the way up, the manual and sensitivity knobs all the way down. Another one of my favorite settings allows me to get that classic envelope follower sound, where the Auto Wah reacts to my picking attack. Just put all the knobs to 7 o'clock, except the sensitivity, put that up to 9 o'clock. Now this is funky. Finally, you can also get that great fixed wah sound, which is a classic for rock leads. Just set all the knobs to 0 except the manual, and off you go.
There's nothing hotter these days than the vintage tremolo sound. In the old days, amps had tremolo built in. But today, you can get that same great effect with the Boss TR2 tremolo pedal. I set mine to match the tremolo in my early 60s amp. Push the depth knob to 1 o'clock and the wave to 2, and try to match the rate to the tempo of the song. Surf on.
For that psychedelic Jimmy sound, no question, you got to have a Boss OC2 octave pedal. I like to jack up the direct level knob all the way and put octave 1 at 12 o'clock and octave 2 very low. Now crank up your amp and pretend you're on stage at Woodstock.
This is what my stack sounds like with the NS2 noise suppressor on. This is what it sounds like with the noise suppressor off. Any questions?
If you want a wild whammy effect, use a PS3 digital pitch shifter with an EV5 expression pedal. Just set it to mode 11 to get a whammy sound like this.
We've heard how great Boss pedals sound on their own. Now let's check how they sound together.
The Boss OD2R Turbo Overdrive is my all-time favorite pedal. Here's a lineup built around it that's perfect for soaring solos. I take my guitar, plug it into the OD2R, set the tone back and the drive way up. I plug this through a Boss volume pedal like the FV50H, and then I go out into the RV3 digital reverb. This is a great pedal since it does both reverb and delay. You get 2 boxes for 1. For a nice combination, I set the RV3 balance to 11 o'clock, feedback to 12, delay time to 2, and mode to 7. Since the volume pedal is after the distortion, when I drop the volume on the pedal, it doesn't reduce the amount of crunch. And since the verb comes after the volume pedal, it won't chop off the verb's long tail. Just listen up.
Slide guitar is used in rock, blues, and country playing. To really nail that classic slide tone, you've got to use a good overdrive and a good compressor. One of my favorite setups is the Boss OD2R Turbo Overdrive with a CS3 compressor sustainer and a DD3 delay. I set the turbo's drive knob way up and then back off on the tone to create a meaty round sound. On the compressor, push the level up for even more boost, and then crank the sustain knob. Then I add a short delay on top like this.
Here's a recipe that uses 4 pedals to get a huge stadium delay sound. Use a Boss PS3 pitch shifter for a tight delay, the RV3 reverb for a long delay and stadium reverb, the XT2 extortion for bite, and the GE7 EQ for tone control. This is huge.
Here's a great setup for playing pedal steel licks. All you need is a Boss CS3 compressor, DD3 digital delay, and an RV3 reverb. On the compressor, put the sustain and attack up pretty high. On the delay, set the feedback to just 1 repeat, the delay mode to L or 800 milliseconds, and the delay time to 12 o'clock. After that, you can play some hot cowboy boogie like this.
Are you ready for the ultimate sustain tone? Hook together the DS1 distortion and CS3 compressor. First set the distortion's level in the middle, tone to 9 o'clock, and the distortion all the way up. On the compressor, tweak the level and tone to halfway, attack to 1, and sustain to 2. Now you'll be able to hold a note for days.
There are no rules for modern rock, so push the limits with bizarre combos like this one. Here's a great double chorus that goes against the norm. Put a Boss RV3 reverb delay first, followed by a CE5 chorus ensemble, a PS3 pitch shifter delay set to a chorus effect, and finally an FC2 Hyper Fuzz to put gain on the end of your chain. This has a lot of flexibility. Check it out and see what you can come up with.
Many of today's new guitar amplifiers come with an effects loop. The loop is usually wired into the signal path between the tone controls of the preamp and the sonic muscle of the power amp. When you put the right effects between these two sections, you get far less noise than you would going through the front of the amp. The secret to using an effects loop is understanding which Boss effects should go into the loop and which shouldn't. Non-level boosting effects like reverbs, choruses, delays, and noise suppressors are perfect for the effects loop. Level boosting effects like overdrives, distortions, compressors, and wah-wahs should not go into the loop, since part of their great sound comes from the way their hot signals hit the preamp section. Just remember this rule: non-boosting effects go into the loop, and boosting effects don't. It's that simple. You don't have to abandon your favorite stomp boxes if you make the move to a multi-effects processor like the Boss GT5. In addition to having 28 built-in effects, a Cosm-based preamp, and an expression pedal, this mighty box allows you to run all your favorite Boss pedals through the rear effects loop. Say you have a favorite old Boss pedal that you'd like to use along with GT5's internal effects. Just plug it into the loop and start wailing. For the perfect blend of old and new effects, this is the best of both worlds. Boss also makes a dedicated line of compact pedals for bass. These are specially designed for the lower frequencies and different playing styles bass players use.
Hi, I'm Alexis Sklorevsky, and I use Boss bass pedals in both live and studio work. I love the way virtually all these pedals allow you to control the mix between dry and affected signal. The CEB3 bass chorus adds depth to my sound and a nice high-end texture for harmonics, chords, and slapping. It's great to use the bass chorus's low filter to select the exact spot to center the chorus on. This way, I can get a subtle soft chorus on the harmonics or affect all frequencies for a really heavy chorus sound. Here's one setting I really like. For rock-oriented gigs, I recommend the ODB3 bass overdrive. It can extend a bass's range of sounds with an aggressive edge that I can't get without it. I like the fact that I can get a variety of overdrive sounds from a warm, natural gain to really crank distortion. Here's one example. And here's another. The LMB3 bass limiter enhancer is great for recording slap bass lines. This pedal can smooth out the extreme differences between thumb and finger technique and give your bass a steady level. Better still, it comes with an enhance knob which can put back some of the natural high end that other compressor type units tend to block out. Try this setting. Have you ever gone to a gig and had your bass rig sound different than it did at home? Different rooms and club spaces create different sound problems, and that's one of several obstacles you can solve with the highly versatile GEB7 bass equalizer. The frequency range is wide enough for a 5-string bass, and it includes an overall level control. Here's the bass alone, and here it is with the EQ. The SYB3 bass guitar synthesizer is perfect for the bassist who wants to lay down some hip-hop, dance, or urban funk grooves without having to learn to play a synth. There are 11 different modes to give you plenty of effects to experiment with, including the popular T-wah for that classic synth-wah sound. There's even a hold feature, so you can hold a synth note and then solo over it. Here's just one of the SYB's many cool settings. What's the secret to getting a killer slap bass sound? You can nail it with 2 Boss pedals, the GEB7 bass equalizer and the CEB3 bass chorus. First, go for lots of low end and strong crisp highs with the GEB7. Then blend in the CEB3 with its effects level control.
Boss's TU series guitar and bass tuners set the world standard and are still the best and most affordable units around. The TU-12s provide a dead accurate chromatic tuner with LED indicators for tuning up fast on a darkened stage. And don't forget the more affordable but just as accurate TU-8 guitar and bass auto tuner and TU-6 guitar tuner. New to the fold is the red-hot Boss CT6 guitar bass tuner. Along with its super accurate LED needle pointer technology, the CT6 can tune everything from an electric guitar to a 5-string bass with a low B note. Heavy metalers will also dig its ability to tune down in half steps for killer low chunking riffs. Boss didn't forget the acoustic guitarist either. All Boss tuners include a built-in condenser mic for quick, accurate tuning without a cord. Guitarists, don't forget that Boss also makes a huge range of other gear. In addition to the GT5, there's also the powerful yet easy-to-use ME8 multi-effects processor and the ME8B multi-effects box for bass. If you need something to practice over, check out the DB66 and DB88 Dr. Beat metronomes. The DB88 even talks. For the ultimate in rhythm power, check out the DR5 Dr. Rhythm section. Designed with guitarists in mind, it features a programmable backing band with bass, drums, and keys. There's also the DR550 Mark II and DR660, which fulfill the need for affordable drum machines with full programmability and professional sounds. For guitar players on the go, these rhythm boxes simply can't be beat. Thanks for taking this once-in-a-lifetime tour of Boss's legendary stomp boxes.